Here we are this morning at a possible demolition of this historic building here just outside Uddeholm. It's 5:45 in the morning and they're considering taking down the first hydro plant built in Sweden, an historic monument. A building that has stood here for 115 years and is a monument to Swedish innovation, hydroelectricity, and they are considering today to knock this monument down, even though this is part of the heritage of Hagfors and the wider heritage of Sweden itself. It's part of a tourist trail, number 8. And there are many tourist trail buildings, and yet most of them have already been demolished. Is it right in modern day, where we need tourist industry here in Hagfors, but the local Kommun should allow this sort of thing to happen? Well, the answer to the locals over the weekend, when they found out that this building was to be demolished, was shock. Over the weekend, many people have gathered here at the bridge to look at the building, to photograph it, possibly for the last time. How is it possible? The building itself is in extremely good condition. It has a new roof and only needs a small amount of maintenance. Why would anyone allow this to be demolished when, as I say, this is part of the heritage of Sweden, not just Hagfors Kommun? Let's go inside and have a good look. Well, this is the old hydro plant. Not much left in here from the days when it was generating electricity, but the building is in remarkably good condition in every way. Sink, stairs, absolutely solid. But its days may now be very numbered. Let me take you upstairs in this pretty little building. And get you to understand that this building is perfect. Absolutely perfect. The windows are perfect. The ceiling is perfect. The floor is like brand new. And yet, they are going to take this building, by the looks of things, and knock it to the ground. Really? Is that what we should be doing with history? The answer to that question is simply no. But it's a question in which I can't control. The view from the window is stunning. And yet, within a few days, if this building isn't saved, it becomes part of the history that was. not the history that is. And if you go through any window, the view is beautiful. Why is it that we're being put in a position of knocking down this heritage? This is a beautiful, idyllic area in which tourists come along all summer. And I expect this summer has been no different than any other summer. People come here and photograph this building, and now they consider tearing it down with this large machine. Well, we're here today to say to the Kommun, this has to stop. The Kommun have to take responsibility and to make sure that this building is retained for the history of the area and as a small part of helping with our tourism industry, which is vital. Well, I'm now outside the offices of Hagfors Kommun to hand out the leaflet to stop this demolition. Well, we're now on our way over to speak to the contractors that have arrived on the other side of the bridge. We are the prey. They are the hawk. Well, it's now 8:30 in the morning. The contractors have decided to leave. Hagfors Kommun are deciding in a meeting the next step, and the newspapers and the radio and the TV are, according to them, on their way down to hopefully make sure that people know exactly what's going on here today. Well, here we are now. The local radio has descended upon us, and we're here to hopefully save the day.
Ja, det är just det. Det är en del av innehållet i Hagfors och i Uddeholm här som då de tänker att bara riva ner och ta bort.
Har ni vaknat sent? Är ni för sena på podden? Nu står ju grävmaskinen där. Nu är man här. Har ni blivit tagna på sängen eller har ni vaknat för sent?
Det är sent en aldrig kan man säga, men ja, lite sådär. Vi vet inte helt hur det här har gått för sig i kommunen och vem som är ett rivningstillstånd och så här, men ja, det var Thomas här som blev gjord uppmärksam på det här under veckan som gick då. Så då har vi fått tv och runt lite. Det var ju en del mer folk här till morgonen. Men jag har pratat med bas på plats här och de har fått besked att de inte ska börja riva där det här är bygget, och det ska vi vara något möte i morgon förhoppningsvis. Då har varit tagit något beslut förhoppningsvis på att det inte ska rivas, hoppas vi då.
A few more days, a few more hours to stand there. You've been here a couple of times visiting the man who had it before, Rick Rosowicz, the Hollywood actor. How it's inside? What it's like inside?
Beautiful. Upstairs is fantastic. Just over 2 years ago, we had a party in there. It's absolutely beautiful. There is not a single reason why this should be demolished, other than profits for the shareholders, the electricity company. It's a beautiful building, internally and externally.
Ett vackert hus interiört och ett vackert hus
Tvättstuga här.
Ja.
Och typ av bastu.
Ja, det hörde jag prata förut.
Ja, tvättstuga här. Sen på 80-talet så kom mus och fisket.
Ja.
Krons fiskevårdsförening hade ju en älv och musån.
Ja, precis.
Så ja, och då kläckte de öring här. Som hade... Har du varit in här?
Nej, jag hade varit in.
I bottenvåningen så hade de tråg och så hade de kläckt de öring.
Ja.
Och sen fick de tag i andra lokaler som var bättre i slut på 80.
Ja.
Så de flyttade upp till Hornäs. Där har de fortfarande odling vad jag vet. Och då kom jag in här. Fick lov av Fortum att ta över den här lokalen. Jag ville köpa den lokalen, men det fick jag inte. Utan jag hade gått utbildning då. 2 terminer i Hagfors för fisk och kraftodling. Innan dess har jag jobbat som kartograf på Lantmäteriverket. Jag var på överlantmätarmyndigheten i Karlstad först och sen har jag varit i Luleå.
Men vattenintaget till den då? Är det tub in eller är det... Eller låg det...
Nej, alltså till fisken menar du? Ja. Då var det en kulvert på baksidan här.
Ja, okej.
Så om du ser
luckorna där över?
Ja, just det.
Ja.
Den är igensatt nu. Det gick det var det byggt, det var för fiskodling, så var det en kulvert utav trä.
Ja, okej.
Som gick 2 meter över marken och in på baksidan.
Ja, så rakt in, ja.
Och det var en 110 meters ledning då.
Ja.
Avloppsledning med alltså. Det var färskvatten då.
Ja.
Och så var det en ventil i vattnet i dammen. Som man kunde stänga. Och där fick jag ta över då. Och så hade jag då kraftodlingen. Ja, det är en lång historia. Utan vidare så plockade de bort ledningen för.
Vattenledningen in?
Ja.
Det är svårt ord att efter.
Ja, visst.
Jo, men det
jag kom hit.
So what we're saying is, how are they able to knock it down? They knocked everything else down. The Uddeholm tooling, which as you know runs in, it has been running for 350 years. Now, whether you like it to come down or not, it's actually very, very, historic. I just get very upset considering I dealt with heritage for 45 years of my life, that what is fundamentally a piece of heritage, it's on the commune's trail of heritage in the area, and then Alevio comes along and says, well, we're going to knock it down because we don't want to have to do it up. Well, they rented it for 50 years. A man has just given up the lease, Rick yeah, he's just given up the lease on it 2 years ago. We had a party in it 2.25 years ago, right? It's absolutely perfect inside. I must admit, I had a few too many drinks at night, but the fact is it's perfect inside, and it only needs a little bit of work done on it to make it good on the outside. But it's just taking away another piece. Good mind. Just taking away another piece of heritage. Well, the only reason we visit Barcelona is because of the heritage. The only reason we visit many cities, and if we go to a city, everybody says, "Go to the old town. Let's go to the old town." Well, we can't go on knocking it down, and say, "Oh yeah, well it was there." For what reason should it not stay there?
But I mean, if they keep it, they would have to
Maintain it.
maintain it.
The same as we do with all the old trains in the museum in Hagfors.
But
It's what?
they're running a business, and
They're running the business, but they also have a responsibility.
don't you think should
do
they
think
be the
too.
ones
I do
owning
think
it
also.
then?
Well,
Because it's only the house, not the.
no, they own all of it.
Yeah, but they're only tearing down the house.
Yes, they're tearing down the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not a house; it's a hydro plant.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, there can be arguments on all sides of the stories, regardless as to whether it's a divorce or what it is, right? But the fact is that these numbers represent part of the heritage, right? And the fact is that the Uddeholm tooling company started here in Uddeholm 350 years ago. It's part of the heritage of what employs 1,000 people in Hagfors, and plus all the ancillary people that go there. So it's probably 2,500 people, right, are employed in Uddeholm tooling simply because it started here in Uddeholm. This was part of it, and it's part of history. And as far as I'm concerned, yeah, we can tear it down. You know, there's another one. Let's go to war in Afghanistan. Let's spend billions. Let's have hundreds of thousands of people die and say, oh well, yeah, but and we're back to square one. We can't go on making mistakes.
So what are you exactly doing here today?
Loving
This
life.
one was supposed loving life.
Yeah, loving
Yeah.
life. Yeah. This
It was supposed
was
to
supposed
tear
to smash
down.
that down.
Jag,
this
jag kom
morning.
hit för fysiskt ställa mig i vägen där om han har tänkt att börja riva ner det där.
Ja, det är det jag undrar. Är
Ja.
ni beredda att göra det?
Åh ja. Ja, det var därför jag var här klockan 6:15 i morse. Men som tur är så är de ju rätt förnuftiga människor som är här för att göra jobbet då. Så jag har pratat med både han basen och maskinföraren, så de kommer inte att börja, de har fått besked om att inte börja med det där, för det då visst ska vara någon möteverksamhet då idag och imorgon, och att det ska tas något beslut då på kommunalt håll vedrörande framtiden till det där.
Men vad är det för beslut då som tas?
Nej, det är ju gitt rivningstillstånd från någon tjänsteman i kommunen då. Vad jag har fått blivit informerad om på morgonen nu, så arbetar inte han där längre, men då är det ju tydligen så är det då, för det hade varit innan helgen här, så hade det varit en annan journalist från Värmlands tidningen som hade varit till kommunen med det här. Och då har det tydligen då någon, kanske lite högre upp i systemet då, som har fått upp ögonen för oj, vad är det som händer där liksom.
Jag vet, men det var det jag undrar om vad politikerna egentligen kan göra.
Jag frågar mig så mycket att det bygger redan varit på mark eller?
Jo, men det är ju inte det.
Nej, men det är ju det du kan göra då,
Ja.
eventuellt.
Ja, det är det ni hoppas på att det blir.
Ja, jag har väl försökt haft det som en oj och tanken, det borde väl kanske hända det.
Hur länge tänker ni hänga här då?
Nej, det får vi
What was
se.
that in English?
Well, she's asking, why am I here? I said I would physically put myself in the way of the machine to be able to knock the building down, and
It's just ridiculous.
and that we you know, word is trickling through that in the service people in, and hopefully the politicians now are getting on board, and like I said, this building should have been K-marked probably already. And she's asking if that's what we're hoping will happen, and I said, well, yeah, of course that would be nice if they would K-mark it, and you know, that way it would be safe for the
How
foreseeable
much
future.
discussions have you had with Fortum about this?
None whatsoever.
None. Okay.
I had
Have you tried to
discussions.
contact them or?
Yeah, I spoke to them when Rick gave it up and said I'm interested in it. Right?
Buying it?
No,
No.
they wouldn't.
Would
They
rent
wouldn't sell
it.
it, renting it, and I would maintain it and look after it. But they hadn't come back to us, and we've spoken to them many times, maybe 3 times in the last, first 6 months. But in the end, they said they were making decisions, but at no time did I ever think those decisions would turn to knocking it down. When firstly they put a new roof on it, then on the other side they put reinforced concrete all the way around to retain it. Why put a new roof on it? Why put a new chimney in it? Why do all of that? And then turn around and say, and then knock it down. It doesn't seem right. And after all, I'm not Swedish. I'm very lucky to be allowed to live in Sweden. Well, day 2 and the building's up, but now there is a ribbon around the actual site. It's up to those with authority to decide what they're going to do with this beautiful property. Are they going to allow the destruction, or are they going to be in the way that I would expect them to be, which is let's save this property for heritage. Day 2, and now the ribbon has been placed. Is that for the demolition, or is that to save the building? Let's find out what those at Hagfors Kommun with authority decide to do. Well, here we are, day 3 of the protest. The machine position has changed, and here we go. Building's still up at the moment, but for how long is this building going to be up? Day 4, and at the moment the beautiful little hydro plant is still standing where it should have been taken down a few days ago. But of course there is a reprieve at the moment, and we'll hope that it will remain intact. So you can see that they are doing some works and the machine is looking huge above. But what's going to happen in the next stage? Let's find out what happens on day 5. Well, it's day 6 and the building is still there. The local commune had a meeting yesterday and it's been decided to send a surveyor to look at the structure of the building. Well, let's see what happens. The thought of losing this building after 115 years, I do not consider to be very wise. This is Swedish heritage. Well, day 8 and things are happening. The machine is down next door to the little house and they've removed the beautiful bridge. Is this the end of the property or is this the beginning? Let's find out in the next few days. Well, today's day 11 and the building is now going to the floor. Heritage has gone and here we are. We campaigned, but in the end the authorities won. The big companies walk over the small, and that's exactly what's happened here. History has gone. It's a sad day for Sweden. It's a sad day for Hagfors Kommun. The tourists looked at this building during this summer will come back next year and wonder what on earth we have done. They say it's progress. Well, if this is progress, I'm very sad. We campaigned on the radio, in the newspapers, on television. But in the end, the little man was not heard. The little man was, as usual, demoralized and finished. Just like this building. Completely and utterly finished. When I look at this building, I realise there's hardly anyone in the world alive today that was here at the time that this building was constructed. It's history, gone down in time, simply for one word: progress. I don't consider this to be progress. I consider this to be the disposal of our heritage. Sweden, like all countries, need to look at themselves and look at their past and what they did have and what they have now. There are so many beautiful buildings, palaces and little places for the common man that have gone simply because the giants want the word profits. This is all about the electricity company Olivio's bottom line. It's in their way. It may cost them money in the future. Well, they have a responsibility. I'll come back in a few hours' time and show you this beautiful place without the building that has been here for 115 years. The progress of modern life. Half an hour later, and the timber from the inside of this building has now gone. Of course, this is Sweden, so therefore everything is being recycled. The timber that's in this pile will end up being used for central heating in the big central heating places within the towns and villages. The steel will go to the steel works. So everything is recycled, even though the building has been demolished, which I can only personally describe as a crime. People are meeting, and therefore people are interested. But of course, in 50 years' time, people will ask the question, as they do from buildings demolished in the past, the question, why? Well, here we are. Within an hour or two, the building will be completely demolished and just fall into the part of history that simply was. Well, it's getting ready now for the final part. The dropping of the end gabion of this building. Building now has been completely gutted inside. Lifetimes all gone. How many people over the years have looked through that window and now smashed to pieces. Well, here we are. The building is now demolished. Day 11, and unfortunately we failed in keeping the building up. We hope it will do some good. I hope that the local authority, the Hagfors Kommun, will now look at other buildings and to make sure that they are graded and listed for prosperity and historical reasons, as it would be terrible to allow another building like this to come down. It's simply wrong, but it's been allowed. We've done our best, and now everybody that comes here will simply remember and hopefully never forget that this building was one of the first hydroelectric plants built in 1906 to generate electricity for the use in Uddeholm tooling and the surrounding village. Now it is simply a pile of rubble. I say everybody has got to understand that heritage is extremely important for tourism and for having something that has a historic value, in which we can see what's happened in the past and how beautiful some of the buildings that we built were, and to retain them forever, regardless, almost to the cost. Goodbye to the power station in Uddeholm.